Merry meet and welcome to Lux Dragon Queen and Magic. I'm Taylor and today I'm just going to be doing that monthly book review that we started last month. As you can see, most of the books I read this month were digital and I just kind of wanted to go over these with you. So this is actually the last book I read. Let's go ahead and start with The Great Hunt. So this is from the Wheel of Time series. It's book number 2. I was talking to you guys about this last time and how great this book series was in inspiring for kind of interacting with magic and like seeing a different way to learn and practice with it. And so it's also a very great story. So I just would encourage you to maybe look into the series for entertainment as well. Also, maybe look into the other forms of entertainment that have come into your life and see how maybe there are certain lessons that are there. I personally think a lot of times I end up reading or seeing like the same kind of material over and over again. And I'm like, oh, there's a pattern here I need to be paying attention to. And it normally is a lesson about my life. Anyways, the other thing I actually want to share about The Great Hunt is we do get to see Nynaeve and Egwene in the tower actually training, which is not something that you get to see in the Prime series because it hasn't gotten that far yet. And so something very interesting though is that there was this very great practice where they talk about turning towards the light and allowing the light to like let your flower petals blossom. And I just really loved that exercise and I used it myself and it was very interesting. And so it's a very interesting way that you can adapt to your own ability and how you work with it. So like I work a lot with clairsentience, so it really supported me in understanding the feeling of the energy as it exists within my own body. But you may work with a different kind of practice, and I would just encourage you to maybe look into the way that you view it in your mind's eye and how that maybe is interacting with you in your practice. Okay, so then next I really like this because so I've mentioned to you guys before that I am currently in the works of attempting to write a book and going through the process. And so with that, I had some resources that were given to me around the book you were born to write and Leap in Your Life Will Appear. So I actually really like this. So I was feeling very discouraged. So I actually was starting to read Leap in Your Life Will Appear, and also was really good book for me to just see kind of like how it was written and just this different formatting for how she was telling her story. Maybe if there was any lessons that I could take away from it, let alone the actual lesson of like Leap in Your Life Will Appear. I very much understand that. And so the interesting part about this though is then in the book you were born to write, it actually has the outline sample of Leap in Your Life Will Appear, and that's actually the primary thing I've been working on this whole month. So it was just this really great like synchronicity that came through in the forms of these resources and materials. And these weren't the only resources I was given. These were just the two I decided to start with. And again, I'm bringing this up more so one, they're absolutely fantastic resources if you are not only looking to change your life, but if you're also looking to maybe write a book or just go through your understanding. So the book you were born to write will also support you if you aren't even thinking about writing a book, but maybe you're just like lightly journaling. This might be something you might be interested in. And so just what I wanted to bring up both of these though is primarily to point out the fact that sometimes the certain materials that come into your life really correlate with each other to support you with your goals and intentions, even though it wasn't necessarily the reason why you started to read it. So like Leap in Your Life Will Appear, I was reading it more to get a further understanding, but also to learn the lessons about just trusting more in myself and the universe and speaking up my truth. And then the book You Were Born to Write, again, I was using it more to help me with that writing process and getting it started, but instead they both ended up working together to support my actual truest intentions. So even if you just have a general intention with the book that you're starting to read, you might find just certain more magical synchronicities that come into your life. So definitely wanted to share that. If you guys have anything similar, please feel free to comment below. I love talking about books. That's why we're here, right? And so anyways, I want to go ahead and get into the next one. And so this is In 5 Years. I absolutely loved how this book came to me. So I was ordering some angel cards off of thrift books, and which I wasn't even originally going to order anything off of thrift. Order these angel cards. I just like had I was looking for a certain deck, but I had a really firm calling. I was like, oh, I'm trying to save, and so instead I was like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and go for it and follow our intuition, treat ourselves to this. The interesting thing is, I didn't notice, but apparently it also was the time with thrift books that I would get my free book. So when I got the cards, it came with this book, and I kid you not, it was during it was during Valentine's weekend, and I had just recently like found like a whole pack of lavender roses or bouquet, that's what those are called. Bouquet of lavender roses that I didn't think I would get. And so I was just like very much being romanced by the universe and loving it. But in addition to it, as I mentioned, I kind of was really struggling with like how my life is about to look in the future and the certain changes that are going through that are just happening in my current times. And this book literally, the premise of it is that someone is like, I know exactly what my 5 year plan. Anyone who knows me would knows that I used to have a rolling 5 year plan. Like I was always on point. And but anyway, so she has this plan and she wakes up in 5 years in the future and it's like not at all what she planned, and she like is like, oh my goodness, what just happened? Because then it's only like 1 hour, and then she wakes up back in her time. And then this is the story about how that experience kind of affected her future, as well as how kind of the future came to realization despite her efforts. And so it was just a very interesting read that really had a lot of different messages for me, and I just absolutely loved it because it is romance, and so it's just a very perfect time. But yeah, this is all the reading I was able to really get done this month with all the other things I've been learning, and just content that I've been taking in. So something too I want to say for anyone who's like, I am not a reader, like I watch so many learning videos, and those just aren't things. If I listed all those, that would be a lot. So I just encourage you, no matter what you're doing and how you're expanding your horizons, that you just find a passion or hobby that really speaks to you and just connect to what makes sense. But I definitely appreciate you guys for being here, listening to this moment. Again, feel free to comment below anything that you have been reading, or maybe your own thoughts in regards to these. Let me know what you're working on in regards to your development. And I will definitely see you guys next time. Blessed be.